Okay, welcome back. Wow, it is just under 2 hours until Daredevil Season 2 drops. I think I'm excited. Yeah. Okay. Let's get started. Normally, this is where I would begin by venting my spleen about Legends of Tomorrow. But, as it turns out, LOT was a rerun this week, so I didn't have to watch it! Yes! 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 So let's get right to a show that I enjoy. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, that was the only new one this week. Okay. Season 3, Episode 12, The Inside Man. Coulson and the new head of the ATCU, General Talbot, head to a diplomatic conference to discuss the Inhuman situation. Unfortunately, Gideon Malik is one step ahead of them and has set up a mole to pull a fast one on Coulson. Fitzsimmons discovers something that might be able to stop Terrigenesis, which gets in the way of Daisy and Lincoln's sexy time. Meanwhile, Hive must have watched Soylent Green on one of those big TVs he has, because he orders Gaera to get him some people to eat. Also, the Absorbing Man is back. Yeah, let's start there. First off, Absorbing Man. One of my favorite villains they've used on this show. He was so fucking cool in those 2 episodes last season. Now he's back in a pretty unexpected way, actually. I was really excited for this. But this might just be the fanboy in me. I was a little disappointed with how they used him. I understand the episode is not about him specifically, but I was really hoping that they'd play with his powers more, because they really just scratched the surface with them last time. I mean, there are so many interesting things you can do with powers like that, like absorbing water and turning into living liquid. Or, what I was hoping for, what if, when Lincoln blasted him, he absorbed the blast and turned into a being of, living electricity or some shit like that? Wouldn't that be fucking awesome? We didn't really get that. So, gonna have to wait for that. But he does play a critical role, and the door is open for him to return later, so I'm happy with that. In fact, there are several surprising twists with Absorbing Man here. I did not see it coming when he was actually working for Talbot. It's not that far-fetched when you think about it, though. There's an Inhuman outbreak, so Talbot is a bit of a reactionary guy, so him figuring that the best way to fight powers is with powers, that's not out of the question. Seems like kind of something that he would do, try to take Creel and use him as a tool. That's a Talbot thing to do. And Creel, well, he still gets to kill people, which is probably all he cares about. But now he's doing it for the good guys, so he doesn't have to worry about the authorities coming after him. That was another big twist. In an episode where that's all about a mole betraying Coulson, Absorbing Man actually turned out to be one of the trustworthy people. Who knew? But the really surprising part was that Talbot was the mole, actually. I think somebody guessed that in the chat room last week. And at the time, I didn't buy it. Talbot's just not that type of character. But they actually got it to make sense here. They had me fooled for a minute, though. I really thought Talbot had gone over to the dark side. I'm like, what the fuck? Talbot? Seriously? But then, now we find out, no, Kydra's got his son, and they're forcing him to do this. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's all a big fake out, and I'm happy about that. They did the mole thing last year, and 24 did this every fucking season, but S.H.I.E.L.D. going to this well again was not really necessary. So, this way they can get a nice little surprise out of it, then resolve it in one episode, and then move on. That's good. So I'm glad they did something different here. I'm glad Coulson and Talbot worked things out, kind of cemented their working relationship by the end of the episode, so they can keep working together, because those two make a really funny duo. Their banter was the most entertaining thing about this. Like when Coulson convinced Talbot to wear the dress that is not a dress in order to blend in at the conference, but then everyone in the conference is wearing suits, so Talbot just looks like a jackass. That was great. These two working together is going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully Talbot will keep absorbing Man around for that. And it seems like he might, because there was another big twist with him. Fitzsimmons finding something about Creel's blood that can block Terrigenesis. That's actually connecting the dots to the Season 2 premiere, when his specific power set allowed him to touch the Inhuman Diviner without getting killed. It still affected him, but he had some kind of resistance to it. Is it possible that they were setting this up all the way back then? That's impressive. Well done on the continuity there, Shield Riders. And this leads to a really interesting argument about what to do with this discovery. Thankfully, it's not between Fitzsimmons this time. But Daisy and Lincoln being at odds over this was another one I didn't see coming. But it made sense once I thought about it. You figure any Inhuman is going to be against this idea, just because they're Inhumans. It's like, oh, you're trying to wipe us out or whatever. But Lincoln, having dealt with Lash killing his friends, not to mention the Jiaying situation, thinks that having a way to prevent Terrigenesis in certain cases might not be such a bad idea, because there were good reasons why Jiaying was so careful about who she let undergo Terrigenesis. She made a lot of bad calls last season, but that wasn't one of them. And true to form, of course, Daisy is vehemently against this on general principles, and not really seeing the full scope of the issue. She thinks that Terrigenesis is every Inhuman's birthright, goddammit, and finds the idea just morally reprehensible, which is kind of a naive position to take. So it's perfectly in character for her, actually. And I was really glad that they actually called her out on that. Lincoln's position is that if Terrigenesis is left unchecked, it leads to problems like Lash. You think if Andrew had been given a choice, he would have wanted to become what he is? No. If nothing else, this would give potential Inhumans a choice, which I think a lot of them would prefer to have. Problem is, this is Marvel, which means it's also something that could be very easily abused and used as a weapon against Inhumans. Keep in mind, in this very episode, one of those people at the conference was talking about herding all the Inhumans into an isolated area, which did not sound that far removed from a concentration camp. So there are a lot of things to consider here. It's a really interesting moral dispute, actually. Though truth be told, I think Lincoln had a much better argument. Like, if you had a Terrigen vaccine and you wanted to inoculate a prison full of murderers and sex offenders so they don't have a chance to become superpowered murderers and sex offenders, I think that would be a pretty good idea. I don't think a lot of people would be opposed to that. Birthright, schmirthright, not everyone who has Inhuman powers should have them. Reference Lash, reference Hive. A Terrigen blocker, if used responsibly, could prevent the creation of killers and monsters, basically. And Daisy's not really seeing that. And I think part of this is because her experience of becoming an Inhuman was extremely ideal, and she got a really cool power that's incredibly useful. If she had wound up like Reyna, for example, or, God forbid, Lash, or Hive, turning into a big tentacle monster, I don't think she'd be quite so opposed to this idea. So Daisy's coming off as pretty self-righteous here and a little narrow-minded. I was totally on Lincoln's side, but I think they did a pretty good job at presenting both sides of the issue. And I think it's a safe bet that this is going to come up again. So there might be more friction between Daisy and Lincoln soon. Okay. I guess. I confess that relationship doesn't really do it for me. I like both of them as characters. Them as a couple isn't really my thing. At least not yet. They were really hammering that one in hard this week. The constant flirting, the constant sexual innuendos, like, yeah, Lincoln knows a lot about Inhuman biology, wink. Finally, I was like, okay, I get it, you guys are fucking. Message received. They were really, they were really hitting that point hard. Because apparently everyone on this show is allowed to hook up except Fitzsimmons. Supposedly those two may get their chance later this season, though, or so I hear. Anyway, not much of Fitzsimmons this week, but they were back to working together, not being awkward around each other anymore. That's good. That's 2 weeks in a row now where neither of them were crying or getting their hearts ripped out or something like that. That's probably a record for them this season. and I like seeing them drama-free for however brief a time that lasts. So good. And then finally we have Hive, still trying to regain his strength. I would like them to accelerate that a little bit. It's moving kind of slowly. When he showed up on Earth in the mid-season finale, I thought, well, this thing laid waste to an entire planet. Now it's back on Earth. Shit about to get real here. But they've got Hive keeping a low profile so far, while they move some other pieces around the board. We are learning more about Hive now. I just want to see him start to take action soon. Looks like that may happen now that he's looking healthier, so that's good. And Brett Dalton deserves some credit here, because this is like the third or fourth iteration of his character now, and he's being super fucking creepy as Hive. You know, there's a lot of little nuances to this, like how soft-spoken he is, how he never blinks, how he's so supremely confident about how powerful he is, even in a weakened state. It's an impressive acting performance, actually. And they upped the creep factor again with him here. I guess when he said that he was hungry in the last episode, he wasn't talking about food. And that last scene was pretty chilling, where they brought in these humans to feed on, and it looks like he literally just consumed all the meat off their bones, and then he's getting up, now healed, standing over this pile of bloody skeletons. This was some real horror movie type shit. And I hope all the ladies appreciated that final shot of Brett Dalton standing up, totally naked, covered in goop. Wasn't what I'm looking for, but hey, something for everybody. And they even threw the slash figures a bone, too, with Coulson and Talbot getting handcuffed together at one point. That was funny. So yeah, overall, good episode. Not one that advanced the main narrative all that much. This was mainly just planting seeds for later, setting up the Terrigen vaccine, Coulson and Talbot learning to work together, and putting Hunter and Bobby on Gideon Malik's plane, which takes us into next week's episode, where I'm guessing they're going to set up the Marvel's Most Wanted spinoff. So yeah, next week might be it for Hunter and Bobby. They might be taken off, which is, oh man, that's going to suck. The Hive thing was still kind of developing in the background. I'm hoping that comes to the forefront soon. So, you know, it wasn't an incredibly plot-heavy installment, but still very enjoyable. There were good twists, good comedy, some scary moments thrown in there too. Just a good, solid, fun episode here. Yeah. And we have some comments from Twitter here. For the record, if you ever want me to answer questions from Twitter on here, just tag it with CSPS, so I know. These are from Striffen19. This is the second week in a row I feel they have messed up the order between the final scene and the end credits stinger. They have Bobby and Hunter hiding out in Malik's plane being the last thing we see in the episode after showing Hive has liquefied 5 people to regenerate Ward's body, now which seems like a bigger deal to you. I don't know if I agree with that, just because the thing with Bobby and Hunter is leading us directly into next week, into the next episode, which is going to be setting up the spinoff. Plus, like I said, you know, the Hive thing has been on a slow burn, so I think it's a better idea to put the stuff that has more immediacy to it in the stinger. And like I said, you know, I think the stinger leads us directly into the next episode. So I think in that case it was the right call. Although I'll give you this, I think either one would have worked fine as the stinger. Yeah, those are two fine moments to go out on. Anything else from Twitter here? No. Okay. Okay, let's go to the chat room. Okay. Believe in the shield. Let's see. I didn't realize there was still that much tension between May and Hunter. I thought they had moved past the Andrew thing at this point. To an extent, I agree. Yeah. It's reasonable to assume that May might still be in a really dark place after what happened with Andrew. When they raided the Hydra compound in the mid-season finale. She went looking for Andrew and found a trail of bodies where Andrew used to be. Uh, obviously she's not going to be happy about that. It was a little weird that there was that she was still so cold with Hunter, but I think she has a reason for being in a bad mood. I'm still holding out hope that LOT will improve in season 2. Well, anything's possible. I highly doubt I'll be watching come season 2, but maybe. Hopefully hopefully season 1 will be a learning experience for them. They'll figure out what they did wrong in season 1. I don't know if they realize the mistakes they're making in the show right now, but we'll see. Nice twist with this week's episode actually made me feel bad for Talbot. Go figure. Yeah. Plus, he's not an unsympathetic character. He's kind of a douche sometimes, but he's not evil. He's just a bit of a tool. It's easy to make a character like that sympathetic. You kidnap his son, that'll do it. S.H.I.E.L.D. washed the taste of the last few shitty episodes of LOT and Flash out of my mouth. Thank God. Agreed. This whole thing just seems like a way to bring Ward's character back, even though he should be killed off at the end of the season. I doubt it. No, I think Ward is very dead. Obviously Hive is going to have Ward's memories, so there may be some bits and pieces of him still in there. But no, I think Ward's dead, and after this season, that'll probably be the end of Brett Dalton on the show too. Just a guess, but I think his time's coming. Let's see. The writing on S.H.I.E.L.D. this week was really incredible. The twists and turns actually had me genuinely shocked. For the first time in a while, I literally was left surprised. Yeah. There's some good twists and turns there, too. I think, Absorbing Man being trustworthy kind of knocked me out of my ass. Really? I did like the twist there, because Hunter had every reason to hate this guy. This is the guy that murdered his friends. I'm glad they didn't forget about that. So he's going to be naturally mistrustful of Creel. Then it turns out the guy was actually on the level. That's going to be a tough pill for Hunter to swallow, but hey, it's a good twist. Hive at the end of the episode equals nightmare fuel. Yeah. Pretty shocking way they turned on a dime there after a more comedic episode than usual. Suddenly they gets that stuff that's got a Hellraiser or something at the end there with the dead all the bloody bones on the floor there. That's some dark stuff. The guy in the promo probably won't be Sandman, but it would be awesome if it was. Sandman? No. Well, I was gonna say Sandman is owned by Sony because they have the Spider-Man license, but no, Marvel and Sony have a deal now. So I guess Marvel could use Sandman if they wanted to, but no, they'd be saving him for a Spider-Man movie. Well, Malik is trying to acquire Inhumans. I guess it's probably an Inhuman. It might be one from the comics. I don't really know. I think if it was an Inhuman from the comics, we probably would have heard something. When they decided to use Slingshot, there was, we heard about that, a month, 2 months in advance, something like that. So, my guess is it's a new character. Look pretty cool, though. I'm a fan of what they did with Absorbing Man, him being Talbot's enforcer, and in the end, a good guy keeps him around longer. Oh, I don't know if I don't think he's a good guy. Now, clearly, he still very much enjoys killing, and the rapey way he was looking at Simmons kind of made me a little uncomfortable. Um, so I don't think he's a good guy. He's just being used by the good guys. So he's a tool of the good guys being used for uh, something positive instead of just being left to his own devices or being controlled by Hydra. Uh, Baby steps. So, yeah. And unlike the disastrous Thor, Foster Comics' use of him actually adds intrigue to his character instead of turning him into a stock villain for an agenda. Yeah. Yeah, this kind of sets up a new direction for him. They could take him to some interesting places here instead of just keeping him as a 2-dimensional villain. I'm sure Coulson is going to enjoy humiliating Talbot whenever possible. At least I hope so. Yeah. Let's get Talbot back in a dress. Or have him hold Phil's hand. You should just make him really uncomfortable with everything. Not sure if I'm a fan of Daisy and Lincoln's relationship. I didn't mind it at first, but now something seems odd to me. Not sure what, though. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think they were hitting it a little bit hard in this episode. That might have been part of it. Obviously, well, Daisy's the main character, basically, so any relationship she's involved in is going to get a fair amount of screen time. So they might be trying to push it in that sense. It felt a little bit overdone to me. I don't think they needed to hit it that hard. But maybe with Fitzsimmons kind of taking a step back and kind of them cooling those two off a little bit before they return to that relationship, maybe they're trying to compensate with a different relationship, and maybe they overcompensated a little bit. But yeah, I felt like it was a little bit overdone. I'm not really digging those two either. I like them separately. Together, I can take or leave them. Let's see. Greetings, Earthlings. Hi. Oh God, let us never speak of Janie Sue as Thor again, please. Oh yeah. Like Jane Foster is the new Thor in the comics. It's like, seriously? I was never a fan of that either. To me, that just felt like something done for shock value. Or maybe they were trying to think like the fangirls would geek out so much just from the idea that Jane Foster is the hero now, and not really let it dawn on them that it was kind of just basically just fan service. That's all it felt like to me. It was just lame fan service. There were way better candidates to be the new Thor than Jane Foster. I mean, not that she's a bad character or anything, but what was Lady Sif not doing anything? Jane Foster, seriously? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not reading that title anyway. Thoughts on the Killing Joke movie? Well, I heard Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill will be doing Batman, the voices for Batman and Joker again. That's really all I know about it, and that's cool with me. Aside from that, I haven't heard anything. But I wouldn't want anyone else doing the voices. So that's good. They're really pushing Daisy and Lincoln. Not sure how I feel about that yet. Kind of just indifferent to it for the time being. Yeah, it's kind of the same boat I'm in. It's kind of indifferent. I can take or leave it. Frankly, these mutant cures never work ever. Under any circumstances, read a comic, find me one where they work. Trick question, there isn't one. No, I think Joss Whedon's run on Astonishing X-Men, they had a mutant cure that worked. Yeah, they had a kid who could fly, who lost his ability to fly and then killed himself. Yeah, that was a cure that worked. By work, do you mean like it will be used responsibly? Because then I would agree with you. I mean, these things are always abused and used for nefarious ends in comics. That's just how it works. And I'm sure that's going to be one of the things they bring up in this. It's like, well, how do you use it responsibly? Or do you use it at all? Is it responsible to use it at all? These are all issues that ought to be addressed. It seems like they're doing that here. Thunder Jane, just remember, stealing is like wrong, but not liking feminists is worthy of lethal injection. Stealing is wrong, but not liking feminists is worthy of lethal injection. Canon as of 2016. Yeah, especially on Tumblr. I'm disappointed with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the title. I would expect Seth, Dean, or Roman to make some sort of cameo. I see what you did there. Jessica Jones, S.H.I.E.L.D., The Flash, Arrow, LOT, Supergirl, and Gotham have all been renewed for new seasons. We still need the news on Daredevil and Agent Carter Season 3. Season 3. Oh, Daredevil will absolutely get a Season 3. Now, that is, by all accounts, a big hit show for Netflix. Agent Carter, I don't know. Yeah, the ratings for this season of Carter were not ideal. There is an argument to be made that the election coverage really hurt them, as it was hurting every show on Tuesday nights and continues to do so. But I don't know. It is fortunate enough to be a Marvel show because Disney owns Marvel, Disney owns ABC, so they might just keep it on because to keep the synergy there. Maybe the new head of ABC likes Agent Carter. We really don't know. My guess is it will not be renewed, but weirder things have happened. Gallivant got renewed for season 2. I don't know about season 3, but yeah, nobody thought Gallivant would get a season 2, but it did. So who knows? Yeah, but Daredevil's absolutely getting a season 3 though. Every time a mutant cure comes up, it ends poorly. Either it doesn't work, and therefore you just cause a lot of undue societal strife. Though I agree, this will probably end poorly. Because inevitably this thing will be abused, or someone will find a way to use it for some kind of nefarious purpose. But it is a socially relevant topic. It's like a sci-fi way of talking about LGBT and people of color and stuff like that. It's like, well, if you could offer them, well, cure isn't the right word, but if you could offer them a way to be something else, would you take it? Would they take it? Would they want to? Is it responsible to even have such a thing? Like, if you could inject somebody with something to make them not gay, some people might seriously consider that, Except in this case, the gay is inhuman abilities. I think it's an interesting storytelling engine. It's got a lot of culturally relevant stuff to it. Dean and Hunter would make an interesting team. Yeah. Or if it works but has... I'm sorry, you're continuing your point here. Every time a mutant cure comes up, it ends poorly. Either it doesn't work, and therefore you just cause a lot of undue societal strife, or it works but has some extreme side effect, like making you into a techno-organic monster like the Phalanx virus. Again, Joss Whedon's run on Astonishing X-Men. The mutant cure was just a cure. It took away mutant powers, the end. But yeah, it's just... yeah. I haven't watched Jessica Jones, but from what I've seen, has the same sort of tune as Watchmen, which, quite frankly, is not my cup of tea. Watchmen? Same tune as Watchmen? Not really, no. It's slower paced than Watchmen. Are you talking about Watchmen the comic or the movie? No, it's... No, I don't think there are many similarities there. I mean, both are kind of dark. Jessica Jones probably has more humor to it. It's dark humor, sure, but it's there. No, I don't think there are a lot of similarities there at all. Uh, or it doesn't work at all and just temporarily takes away their powers and they come back stronger, as in one of the X-Men cartoons. I can't recall which right now. Okay. And yeah, I sided with Lincoln. He was never saying give it to the government like Sky presumed. He was saying having a vaccine around is good for us as an option. Yeah, Lincoln really had the better argument there, didn't he? Yeah, Daisy is just opposed to it as an idea, just as a concept. She wants no part of it and just thinks it's morally repugnant. But Lincoln, he's like, I think he's seeing the broader scope of this. He's like, look, some people just shouldn't have powers. If you can use this to stop, the creation of another Lash, shouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to have this thing around just in case, like for a worst case scenario? It's like, hey, this person has the inhuman genetic markers. We really don't want them to be an inhuman because, well, they're a horrible person, and this would probably give birth to a super criminal, super villain, whatever. So let's inject him with the Terrigen blocker, so we don't have to worry about that. Just because it's their birthright doesn't mean everyone having powers is a good idea. Some people really shouldn't have them, and some people just don't want them. Like I said, it gives them a choice, and it gives Shield a way to prevent the creation of some really big problems. So I think I was with Lincoln. It's a good idea. It's a good thing to have around should they need it. According to the descriptions for the next 2 episodes, Mac's brother will be coming to the show. Yeah, I saw promo photos for that. It looked like the guy who played Smash in Friday Night Lights, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, it looked like him. But yeah, we really don't know anything about Mac's family. So that's cool. Be nice to get some backstory on him. And sure, Hive is taking a low profile, but he's just getting scarier and scarier. Yeah. Yeah, we got a little hint about how his mental manipulation powers work in the last episode, and here he's eating people. You're consuming their flesh to heal himself. That's he's getting scary. I do want to see him get a little more proactive though, and I hope that happens now that he's supposedly healed. Maybe we'll get to see his powers like really cut loose now. That's cool. Let's see. When Malik gets his comeuppance, it better be good. I'm half expecting Hive to just kill him at some point. Like when Hive gets back to full strength, he's like, "Well, I don't need you anymore." Because we saw on back on the alien planet, he had very little regard for that Hydra squad, even though these were the guys who were on the mission to bring him back to Earth. He had no problem killing them. Remember? So I think now he's using them now because he needs Malik's help. But once he doesn't need that help anymore, he might just eat Malik and call it a day. I wouldn't be too surprised. Yes. Fat Lardy is not the champ anymore. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Saturday. Let's see. Hopefully, once Daisy and Malik's Inhuman teams are at full strength, we'll get some more imaginative action scenes and fewer fillery episodes. We really haven't had any fillery episodes. I mean, I guess you could count this one. They even quote-unquote fillery episodes this season still have some story points going on. Even if they're in the background, it's still... I don't think there were any episodes you could really cut without losing something. It's just some are more story-heavy than others. Can we put Hive against Grado, please? I would pay to see that. I recall an old Ultra Force comic that had this very situation. A mutant Ultra whose powers took away other mutants' powers. We have a vaccine, they said. Boo. Hold on. Holy shit. Then it turned out it was basically a siphon and reversed itself after she was defeated. Oops. Okay. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor is what the fuck casting at its finest. Okay, switching gears here. I don't know what they're going for with that. It seems like they want to keep elements of the Luthor from the Jeffrey Donner Superman, Christopher Reeve Superman, where he was kind of a wacky villain. Instead of like the more serious guy that we've seen in recent years. I was hoping they'd go for a portrayal more like the Lex Luthor, like the Clancy Brown Lex Luthor from the Superman animated series. I always really liked that version. I prefer a more serious Lex Luthor. I'll give it a chance because Eisenberg's an Oscar nominee. He's not a bad actor. So I don't know. Maybe his portrayal will grow on me. That turned out okay. How do you think Civil War in a couple months will affect S.H.I.E.L.D.? I don't know. It kind of seems like they're doing their own version of Civil War with this Inhuman vaccine. It's not that dissimilar really from the issues of the Civil War comics. In both cases, it's a question of how to deal with powered people. As I understand it, the movie is going to be different from that. It's that super powered people need to be kept in check, need to be subject to government oversight. So it's a little bit different. I think you might see a certain number of people on Team Iron Man or Team Cap. My guess is it won't throw a huge monkey wrench into everything. Maybe not to the extent that Winter Soldier did, but I don't know. I think the issue might come up. They might discuss it. I don't think it'll be a huge thing though. The twists in this episode were great though, really great. I never even came close to guessing Talbot was a traitor or that he was being blackmailed. Yeah, that took me off guard, too. That was well done. And the more I see from Hive now, the more I think something had to have been up with Space Asshole, even back with him and Gemma. He easily could have been influenced by Hive without being Hive itself. Yeah, actually. I think I talked about this last time. Because we see how Hive's powers work. He sends little pieces of himself, whether they're skin flakes or just stuff his body generates. I don't know, but it kind of looks like a little sandstorm, right? So every time a sandstorm appeared on the alien planet, that could have been Hive doing stuff with his powers. And Space Asshole was there on that planet for 14 years. So, he could have been influenced by Hive without even knowing it, really. And that would explain a few things, honestly. And, Gemma could have, Simmons, she could have been influenced by him, too, in some way. Maybe not so much that Hive had total control over them, but because Hive was supposedly in a weakened state on that planet, but it could have been influencing them subtly. And we really don't know yet. I know it's a weird question, but do you get tired during any of the streams? Sometimes when they go long. My voice tends to die out after, yeah, after a little while. Because I have chronic allergies, and one of the problems with that is my voice isn't so cooperative a lot of the time. That's why I've got my water here. So I talk too long, my voice tends to die out. What did you think of the X-Men Apocalypse trailer? Yeah, the new one. I'm excited for it. I think I've seen every piece of media for this movie that this movie is put out now. I think all that's left is to see the movie. I was sure that Absorbing Man was evil until he turned out to be not. Wow, again, never even saw it coming. Yeah, I like that twist a lot. And there was every reason to suspect him, too. Remember, this guy murdered 2 members of the team in Season 2, so... we haven't seen him since, so there was every reason to suspect that he was no good. LOT has passed the point of no return for me. Yeah. I think a lot of people are feeling that way. LOT has passed the point of no return, but so did Gotham, and it's gotten massively better. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that about Gotham. I can't bring myself to watch Gotham again. I just can't. Now, LOT has a Season 2. How can they possibly extend that show beyond Season 1? Its plot premise is entirely prone to failure as it is. They have not hesitated boarding up the boats. I don't know. I think it lends itself to more than one season. Probably in the same way that Doctor Who does. When you got time travel, it's not hard to come up with new bad guys. It could be any, time-traveling bad guy or supervillain, really. I mean, you could... there are other things they could do with it, I'm sure. Hopefully this Tom Holland guy is an awesome Spider-Man. I've never seen Tom Holland in anything, but people tell me he's a good actor. Plus Marvel hasn't really screwed up on any casting decisions yet, so they've earned our trust by this point. I didn't know what to make of Olivia Munn as Psylocke, but after seeing the trailer, I think she is going to knock it out of the park. About 2 hours ago. What? Okay. I'm actually curious as to what LOT is planning for a season finale. I hear they're bringing Roz in next season, so probably killing off Savage. I suspect Savage will be dead be killed off this season, yeah. Bringing Ra's al Ghul in next season? I hope he's not the bad guy next season. Ra's al Ghul, for me, was kind of a lame duck. And the character just didn't come off well. I don't think the actor was up to the task of playing him. Plus, it's another immortal bad guy. I just don't. I really prefer somebody else. I think Absorbing Man is more along the lines of service to the highest bidder. Yeah, Talbot's probably paying him for his services, I guess. So maybe he's like a contract killer. He just happens to be in the service of the U.S. government. Okay, I didn't know what to make of Olivia Munn as Psylocke, but after seeing the trailer, I think she's going to knock it out of the park. Okay. I'll give Olivia Munn credit. She really trained hard to play Psylocke. You saw those training videos. She was working hard on the martial arts, and she learned to use a sword really well. I don't think she's actually Japanese. I think she's like half Chinese or something. I would prefer an actual Japanese actress. Uh, Plus, I'm not digging the costume. I know it's a pretty accurate. It's a pretty accurate replica of her costume, like from the early '90s comics, but it looks stupid. I'm sorry. That was one of the cases where I wish they'd changed it. It just doesn't look functional. It, I mean, it looked good when Jim Lee was drawing her in the early '90s X-Men, but I mean, put it in real life, it looks awkward. I, I don't like that. I wish she was wearing more like her costume these days, where it's kind of a full, where she's all covered up and it looks more functional and shit. I don't know. We'll see. So Creel is a mercenary doing Talbot a favor for getting him out of comply mode. Still more interesting than his Thunder Jane pages. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I'm like Phil, still a bit used to calling Daisy Sky. Expect me to go back and forth between the two names. Yeah. All right. I think a lot of people on Tumblr still call her Sky too. Any also thoughts on DC possibly retconning the Killing Joke? I mean, in the comics? No, I think the Killing Joke is still a thing in the comics. It just Barbara's paralysis was not permanent this time, since the New 52 relaunch. Do you mean they were retconning that it ever happened? Because that would be terrible. That's a great story. So I hope they wouldn't retcon it away entirely. Thank you, Zach. Someone got my name right. No offense to you guys in the chat. I still call her Mary Sue Poots. I always liked that joke. I don't think she's at Poots level, not anymore anyway. Yeah, I could understand the Mary Sue thing for most of the first season. Yeah, I think they've done a pretty decent job of making her flawed now. This episode was a good example. I think she was, she definitely came out on the losing end of that argument. She just didn't have a good one. I think Lincoln was making a lot more sense. Because when you've got people like Lash around, an inhuman a Terrigen vaccine makes a lot of sense. It's a very practical thing. I don't care if it's your birthright or not. Some people just shouldn't have powers. And Daisy was just coming off really self-righteous, and that's a character flaw. And Mary Sue's are not really acknowledged as having character flaws. So I could understand that in the people feeling like that in the first season. Not anymore, though. See, election coverage on Tuesday nights has been annoying. Yeah. I haven't had to deal with any preemptions yet, so I guess I'm in one of the states that doesn't happen in. That might not be. That might happen at some point for me, though. I've been lucky so far, though. Yeah, the election coverage is hurting the shows. It overlapped S.H.I.E.L.D. this week down here in Florida. Luckily, the internet came to the rescue. Yeah. Yeah, the election coverage is going to hurt every show on Tuesday nights. That's going to suck away viewers. Thankfully, there's a reason for it. So if people are, if the networks look at, falling ratings or something, there's an excuse. Okay, the show was preempted in this state, this state, this state, this state because of Super Tuesday election coverage. And we've got, and they're counting, like DVD viewers, the +3 ratings, the +7 ratings, those all count for stuff now. And a couple of years ago, that wasn't the case. Plus, there's all like multi-platform stuff where all the viewers count, like Netflix, Hulu, stuff like that. So if you're going to watch it on the internet, just watch it through legal channels so your views count. Hulu, iTunes, stuff like that. Let's see. In fiction, a force or power that's good when used responsibly will always be abused by the government. Yeah, pretty much. WrestleMania 32 looks like it's going to be a dog. Thoughts? I agree. I think the writing has been pretty piss poor. Uh, I talked about this in the Impact stream earlier. I just think creative is a mess. I think they're just throwing shit at the wall now. I think the card looks incredibly weak. Even the matches for the stories for the big matches really are just a mess creatively. The whole Shane Undertaker thing makes no sense. I'm excited to see it just because it's Shane and the Undertaker, but the reasons why they're fighting, why Undertaker is going along with Vince, with what Vince wants, it's stupid. There's no attention to detail here. Ironically, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the match that has the best story might be the Divas Championship match. Not that it's a great story or anything, but at least it's more or less logical and something you can follow that doesn't have any glaring plot holes. It's pretty simple, but it works. But how did we come to that? Match with the most coherent story is the Divas match? Wow. Although I have to give Daisy credit for apologizing to Lincoln and trying to understand that her experiences with her powers are far more ideal than his. Yeah, even Lincoln's experiences have been kind of ideal too. Clearly he's a more conflicted guy than he appeared when we met him. Um, you know, he's definitely got some personal demons, got some anger issues. But still, he's got a cool power that is useful, and it doesn't prevent him from leading a normal life if he wants one. And nevertheless, his powers, his methods of dealing with his powers are different from Daisy's. Every Inhuman's method is going to be different. And let's face it, Daisy had it really easy becoming an Inhuman because she learned to control her powers very easily and very quickly. And she can still live a normal life if she wants one. Reyna couldn't do that. Her becoming an Inhuman basically, completely ended any chance she'd have in a normal life. Lash, God knows Lash can't do that. They did kind of, reconnect at the end there, realizing that, maybe Daisy didn't understand the whole scope of everything. But, I liked how that was done. Michael Cera would make a better Mania opponent for Triple H than Roman Reigns at this point. No disrespect to Michael Cera. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there. Yeah, they keep Reigns off TV for several weeks, just and push Ambrose in his place, which is not going to do anything for Reigns. It's just going to make the fans want to invest in Ambrose more. And they're gonna make them resent Reigns that much more at WrestleMania when he gets the spot instead of Ambrose. Plus, you do this whole thing with them, setting up the match with Triple H and Ziggler, saying, okay, if you beat Triple H, you can have any match you want at WrestleMania, but I think you're gonna lose because you're a loser. It's like Ziggler says, I always try, I always give my all. And so, they have the match, and then Triple H beats him, which pisses the fans off. And then Reigns comes out. Wouldn't it have made more sense to have Reigns come out and cost Triple H the match? That would have done something to get people more on Roman Reigns' side, because he helped out Ziggler, who's, a fan favorite. Yeah, but no, he waits until after Triple H beats Ziggler, which pisses the people off, and then Reigns gets to beat the shit out of Triple H, and that just pisses people off more. It's almost like they want Reigns to get booed out of the building at WrestleMania. I don't know what they're thinking. NXT Dallas looks really good, conversely. I'll take your word for it. Nope, wrong, dude. The cure in Joss was actually an alien virus created to do bad things and made by torturing humans. Well, it did work. Just saying. I admit I haven't read Joss's run in a while. But, the cure did work. Let's see. What's up, FK? Was it me, or was I right about Grado winning a contract? And fuck yes, Drew Galloway makes history, wins the world title by cashing in Feast or Fire. Did you get my tweet about Grado wins? Ugh. Yeah, Grado won the contract back. I guess the silver lining is that he didn't get the King of the Mountain title shot. I don't know. Maybe now that the UK tour is over and this storyline is apparently over, maybe we won't see Grado for a while. I hope. Seems like Daisy has forgotten the Bahrain story. Yeah, she's got a short memory, doesn't she? Yeah, but, self-righteous people often do. Like, she's disregarding anything that doesn't line up with her own viewpoint, which is not out of character for Daisy. I mean, she's exhibited this behavior before. And I like that, it's good to have character flaws as long as they don't cripple the character. Whoa, holy shit. Alright. Beast figured it out. They were like extracting humanity from Homo sapiens and putting it in mutants or some magical alien nonsense. Point is, didn't work. Not as advertised, not at all. Okay. I'll take your word for it. I guess I have to reread Joss's run on Astonishing X-Men. Do you watch Angry Joe? Yes. Not much of a, I'm not really a gamer, but I love his reviews. I like his movie reviews a lot. Watch him all the time. Still don't like Grado, but the kid has earned my respect, just sort of, not fully. I know you're mad about Grado winning, but I was sick and tired of Eli Drake putting him down, and Grado won to end the feud. Ugh. Okay. I kind of like Jesse Eisenberg as an actor. I enjoyed his performance in Zombieland, and Now You See Me, so I'm hoping he does well in Batman v Superman. Yeah, and I know he's a good actor. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just not crazy about the portrayal still being kind of manic and comedic and stuff. I wish they were going more serious, but I'll give it a shot. Can reserve judgment until I see the movie. Okay, dude, come on. Will was just a guy. He died saving Gemma and got used by Hive to escape the planet. That's all. Anything else is just canon conflicts caused by writers' mistakes. I am not convinced. I am not convinced until they explain why Hive, in his astronaut form, trapped Simmons in the cave with this guy. The Hive wanted them together for some reason. It orchestrated their meeting for some reason. We still don't know why. Until I know why, I'm still going to be suspicious of that person. Like, I get it. I've been in ship-to-ship combat before. To this day, I have no idea how Aang didn't go after Toph, but really, Will's dead at this point. He's not worthy of your ire. Aang didn't go after Toph. Well, Toph had a thing for Sokka. It was subtle, but it was there. Plus, I mean, I'm for the record, I'm pretty sure that Sue was the daughter of Toph and Sokka in Legend of Korra. Of course, they never told us that. We still don't know who her father was, but he was a romantic false lead at worst. Ugh. Not even that. Do you think WB should have cast Linda Carter as Wonder Woman's mother, Queen Hippolyta, in the Wonder Woman movie? Nah. Maybe in a smaller role, but Hippolyta? No, Linda Carter wouldn't be right for Hippolyta. Next week, Robbie. Okay, spoiler alert for Impact. Robbie E. and Jesse Goddard's team up against Beer Money for the tag titles. Oh, Christ. And the Dollhouse triple threat. Finally, this match happens, and I'm not giving out spoilers. Well, you just did. Yeah, so So Beer Money put out an open challenge for any former tag team champions instead of defending the tag titles against the team that beat them in a 6-man tag this past Tuesday. Yeah, because that makes sense, right? And instead of bringing back a team that people might give a shit about, they bring back the Bromance, which makes no goddamn sense because they broke up and Jesse Goddard is a heel. And there was a lot of bad blood between these guys last time I checked, and now suddenly Goddard is going to be a face again? Fuck that. Well, not again. He was never a face. But, yeah, the Bromance are going to be faces now, which is... Does anybody see that working out? Okay, Robbie E. wasn't working as a babyface. Maybe he was slightly less annoying as a babyface, but Jesse Goddard, is anyone going to cheer for Jesse Goddard as a face? Do you see that working out at all? I don't. Linda Carter as Hippolyta would be sick. Man, I disagree. I don't think she was right for Hippolyta. I'll give Olivia Munn credit. She's about the only actress ever cast in an X-Men movie who ever looked like a comic book female. Yeah, they did make an effort to make her look like Psylocke from the comics. My issue was that they tried a little too hard, and they were so slavish to her look from the comics that it just didn't look right. Because there's a reason why some of these things are changed when you do a movie out of a comic book, because it looks good on the page. Page doesn't mean it looks good in the movie. And I maintain that her outfit just looks really awkward and silly. It looks like cosplay. Yeah. Her and Storm. Jim Lee's X-Men. I forgot how much I loved that run. Christ, I missed the 90s. Yeah, one of the best artists who ever drew the X-Men. Fuck the 2000s, it'd still be the 90s if it weren't for the 2000s. And Batgirl 49, the villain is very Scarecrow-esque, so there's a chance the Killing Joke could get retconned. Alright, well, I don't read the Batman comics. I'll take your word for it. Film Killer for TNA Creative, for WWE Creative for that matter as well. I actually applied for a job in WWE a couple of times. Just basically just so I could say I did it. Nothing ever happened there. Not that I expected it to, but gave it a shot. Of course, they're looking for like sitcom writers and soap opera writers and stuff. So, darn the luck. If Inhumans become common enough that they can live a normal life or normal for a minority, no worse than like Chinese Americans or blacks in terms of numbers. Well, Chinese Americans and African Americans don't have superpowers that can kill people accidentally, It's similar, but it's not quite the same thing. As for WrestleMania 32, I hope Triple H versus Roman Reigns is suddenly interrupted by Hive. Just imagine it. Hive turns Triple H into the skull of his Titantrons. Stephanie comes out, tries to berate Hive the way she does all the wrestlers under her, only to meet the same fate. Soon as Hive turns its attention to Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose comes out and attacks it from behind to try to save his brother. They swarm Hive, try to fight it, but eventually it gets the upper hand. Before it's able to turn its sand dust powers on them, Rollins comes flying from an attack helicopter and tackles it. Rollins is fully recovered from his injuries and has all sorts of guns dropped from the helicopter, giving some to Ambrose and Reigns. Then Becky Lynch comes out to join the fray, followed by Paige of all people. Becky's always talking about fighting androids and ghosts and shit, so she's the most fitting woman to be involved in something like this. Paige needs something interesting to do and wants to be thought of as a badass, plus Becky's her old friend and sets the guy she was going to hook up with in FCW until she didn't. So the Shield reunite in WrestleMania, joined by two women to fight off a terrible superpowered monster, possibly save everyone in attendance and earn the future of WWE status for life. And then you wake up the day of the show and it turns out it was all a dream. Oh crap, mentioned the it's all a dream part before the most important bit for FK. If we need Hive to have a tune-up match, feed him Grado on Impact. Oh, well, you put a lot of thought into that. Good stuff. Let's see. Frankly, they'd be way better off since they have superpowers. Same with mutants. Oh, boo-hoo, I have awesome powers. What a nightmare. True. Not all powers are awesome, though. Reference Reyna. Being able to see the future is cool. Being covered in thorns, not so cool. Probably did wonders for her sex life, Don't tease me like that, Luke. Let's see. Not only did Toph have a thing for Sokka, she and Aang wouldn't have worked at all. Or did everyone miss the castration gag from the time she was training him? Comic book and film are two different entertainment mediums. When you adapt a comic series into a movie, changes have to be made. That's just how it is. Yeah. I just don't think the Psylocke costume looks good. Credit them for trying to be faithful to the comics. I just think they were a little too slavish in this case. Are you ready for Daredevil Season 2 tomorrow? Oh, hell yeah. I might not be able to watch it tomorrow. Sure hope so. I can't fucking wait. Let's see. Ooh. Tang for life. I like Sokka, so he's okay for the second ballot choice, but no, fuck that Tang dude. Really? I think Aang would probably be would be kind of bored with or Toph rather. I think Toph would get bored with Aang really. No, I think she'd be way too much for Aang to handle. I think Aang needed somebody a little more mellow. Let's see. I hope after the Beautiful People in Dollhouse feud is over, I hope the Beautiful Dolls and BPs and DH beer. This is in Beautiful People in Dollhouse, Beer Money and Gallo Kim is in Galloway and Gail Kim. They feud against the Hardy Clan, the Decay, Bennett and Maria. Okay. Let's see. And I don't think one necessarily has to be acting as a shipper to find suspicious patterns in a character that happens to be momentarily in the way of a pairing. I'm not wearing shipper goggles about Will. I have no problem with him as a character. I just think the space asshole thing is funny and happen to agree that there's some strange business with Hive. Yeah, there are still things that have been left unexplained about that whole situation. Like I said, we know Hive trapped Simmons in that cave. It orchestrated her meeting this guy for some reason. We still don't know why. So I think there's a good possibility that they were both being manipulated unbeknownst to them the whole time for some reason. Whatever that reason is, we don't know, but it's going to factor into the story somehow. Tyler, dude, no, we don't need another 20 person faction war. Oh hell no, enough of those. No more gigantic factions where nobody gets over. No more of that. I feel about Katara the same way FK feels about Will. I feel about Suki the way Phil feels about Ward. Oh, not a fan of Suki, huh? I thought Suki was cool. But that's a story for another time. So, not a fan of Katara, huh? She wasn't my favorite character or anything, but... I was okay with her. Yeah, that looks like it's about it. I'll give it another minute or two. But I guess we can think about wrapping it up at this point. Only one show to talk about now. I think Flash and Arrow are back next week. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. Yeah, I'd have to look that up. But we'll see. Okay, I'm glad Eli Drake got his ass kicked by Grado, but it wasn't easy for Grado now, wasn't it? Right, would you agree? No, I do not agree. I am not happy that Eli Drake lost another match to Grado. I think that's bullshit. Have you seen the new Ghostbusters trailer? I have. Did not care for it. for a number of reasons. It has nothing to do with them all being women now. That's it's whatever. I think it's the feminism of the whole thing is seems kind of short-sighted to me. If you really wanted to have a new Ghostbusters cast that takes equality into the mix, I would prefer a Ghostbusters team of men and women working together instead of being like, oh, the last team was all men, so now it has to be all women, because girl power and whatever. No, just do a team of men and women. Why can't they just all work together? That's feminism. Feminism isn't women being better than men, it's men and women being equals. Let's have that, No, but nevertheless, I'm okay with them all being women if that's what you want to go for. I just don't. Maybe this is just the way the trailer was cut together, but I don't like the tone they're going for. The original Ghostbusters was funny. Yeah, it was technically a comedy, but there was also a lot of dark elements to it, and it could be scary at times. Those movies could. It doesn't look like they're going for scares here. It's just straight up comedy. Maybe it's just a bad trailer. I don't know, but we'll see. I don't have high hopes for the movie, but it wouldn't be the first movie that was fucked over by bad marketing. Zootopia is another good example. The Zootopia trailers were bad. They like the whole trailer was like the scene of them at the DMV with the sloth. It was just taking forever to do everything. The trailer was boring, but you know what? Zootopia is actually a fucking great movie. I saw it over the weekend. It's a great movie. It's really smart and it has a lot of really well thought out messages to it. I was stunned. The trailers did not do that movie justice at all. Maybe I'm hoping the new Ghostbusters is a situation like that, where the person who cut the trailer together was just an idiot and focused on the wrong stuff. I'll give it a chance, but yeah, I'm keeping my expectations low. Will WWE give Lana the Divas title? At some point. Who knows? We don't even know what kind of a wrestler she is yet. Yeah, all the DC shows are back next week. Okay. Alright, so the Flash is back. Does the female Flash happen to be Jessie, like the most suggested about Jessie from Earth 2? No, I think the new Speedster is somebody else. Female Speedster is Trajectory, who I found hot in the comics, but whatever, she wasn't a villain, she was a drug addict, though. Okay. I don't read the Flash comics, so I don't know who these people are. I hope Eli cashes in his briefcase successfully and have them all make history, as in the people that got title shots cash in successfully, and I would love to see Velvet Sky versus Grey Hair versus Hair. Wow, that would be horrible. We already had Ghostbusters with men and women before in the 90s, of course, but don't let that stop you feminists. Was that a cartoon? Is that one of the cartoons? I don't know. Zootopia is awesome, very funny, and strikingly aware of the real world. Yeah. I mean, I was stunned. I mean, this is a CG cartoon aimed at kids, but it actually has like a really poignant message about racism, of all things. Imagine that. It's handled in like a really intelligent, thoughtful way too. I was genuinely stunned at how good that movie was. Just say it, dude. The trailer looks like Ghostbusters is blankly pandering to hardline feminists. Yeah. They should have used the Kylie Griffin character from Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon. I don't believe I ever saw that cartoon. Hardline Tumblrists, but yeah, same thing. You get to shave Grado or Velvet's head, but who would you choose, how, and why? Can I choose neither? I would prefer not to be involved in that. Would you say most cult classics are better the first time around? What I mean is, do reboots tend to ruin the authenticity of the original? It might sour you on the original. I don't think it ruins the original. I mean, the original will always be there. Um, I think no. I think reboots just kind of make you think less about the property, not necessarily the original movie, but the franchise. Uh, like the RoboCop reboot, just a forgettable action flick, really. The RoboCop original will always be a cult classic. Uh, but yeah, I think in most cases the cult classics are better the first time around because these reboots so rarely turn out well. Oh shit. Like I said, Zootopia handled racism with more maturity than LOT. So does My Little Pony twice. I'll take your word for that. Take your word on that. I have not watched My Little Pony. I think it was Extreme Ghostbusters. Okay. Yeah. Extreme Ghostbusters was fucking awesome. All ethnic, all diverse cast, but it didn't draw attention to them, so it seemed organic and just like they were there. Okay. And plus, it was like men and women working together, right? So it's just a co-ed team. Yeah, why can't we just have that as the new movie? Just men and women. It doesn't have to be like one or the other. Doesn't have to really draw attention to anything. It's just no. This is just how the world is. Yeah, why can't we just have that? Alright. If I was in TNA, do you think I'll be a perfect member of the Dollhouse of Beautiful People? I'll definitely be their young boy, not in the Decay or Bram or EY. How would you book me as a young boy? I don't know. I don't know the first thing about you. Be their young boy? What do you mean by that? I'm confused. Blank handled X better than LOT. Not very hard to do if it involves smart storytelling. Yeah, there's not a lot of that to be had on LOT, is there? Okay. You know what? I think that's a good place to end it. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Good talk tonight. I will see you on Saturday in the afternoon at some point. We don't have a set time for the Impact streams on Saturday. Sometime after 3 o'clock, I'm guessing. I try to keep them between 3 and 6. Doesn't always work out that way, but I try. Young boy is basically Japanese promotion talk for an understudy or a rookie. Okay. All right. So yeah. Yeah, good talk tonight. Guys, I will see you on Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. In the meantime, keep sending in your tweets to Dixie Carter, John Gaburek, Impact Wrestling. If you want to see a revival of the X Division, so hashtag revive the X Division, hashtag cherry bomb for TNA. No spoilers, but Knockouts Knockdown was taped earlier today, and I think things are looking pretty positive for one of those things. So that's good. But, keep tweeting them regardless. And I will talk to you guys on Saturday. And come back next Thursday, same time, same place. Where I guess Flash and Arrow are back. So we'll have more shows to talk about next time. So until then, over, out. Later.